Hey everyone, welcome to week 4. Just want to take a couple minutes to go over the agenda with you this week. This is a big week, super important week in terms of the lesson and the assignment. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our agenda. Okay. All right, so first thing first, you're going to have to take the week 4 attendance quiz in order to have access to the lessons and assignments for the week. Remember, the material, the questions on the week 4 attendance quiz come from the material we covered in week 3. Once you have submitted the week 4 attendance quiz, you will then have access to the lessons. But you're going to have to go through the lessons before you have access to the assignment. So you'll see a brief review of week 3 after you submit the attendance quiz. It'll be the first item under the quiz right here. Then you have your first required lesson for the week, and it is APA Format Basics. It is about, that lesson, the video is about an hour long. So, plan accordingly. Take breaks if in whatever way works for you. Don't feel like you have to sit down and watch the whole thing all at once. But you can if that is what works best for you. But it's an important lesson. I really try hard to explain what APA format is and why you shouldn't be so intimidated by it. There's a video and then a PowerPoint link below the video. Your next required lesson is on reference entry. I'm going to warn you, this one, the video is about an hour and a half long. I really can't stress enough, though, how useful it is, especially if you are not experienced with APA format in any way, or you have a lot of anxiety about this research paper. If you have a lot of anxiety about how to do citations, the next lesson is all about citations. But that lesson is not going to make much sense, or it's going to be difficult to fully wrap your head around if you haven't gone through this lesson on reference entries. So even though it's an hour and a half long, I really encourage you to get through the whole hour and a half at some point during the week. Video, PowerPoint link located below it. Actually, there's some handouts too. There's a handout with the APA Format Basics lesson and also a handout with the reference entry lesson. And I go over both in the video, obviously. And then your third required lesson is citations. This one is shorter. And you think it would be longer because everybody struggles with citations, but that's what I mean. Once you understand reference entries, citations actually become a lot easier. So I do that last. It's shorter. Make sure you watch it though, because again, citations are everything, but they're not really that hard. So I hope that lesson really eases some of your anxiety and worry about creating proper citations. Make sure you watch that video, PowerPoint link located below it, right? So yeah, it's a heavy week in terms of the length of some of the videos and the importance of the videos. Your homework for the week, though, the only thing you have is project part 2. There is no discussion this week. You still can post to the week 3 discussion if you didn't get a chance to do that, but there's no week 4 discussion. The only thing you have is project part 2. Now, there are release conditions for project part 2. So if you have not met all of those release condition requirements, you're not going to see project part 2 yet. So let's take a look at those release conditions so you know what you need to make sure you have accomplished so that you can have access to project part 2. The first thing is you have to have received full points on project part 1, which was assigned back in week 1. Honestly, if you don't have that submitted or don't have full points on it yet, you're behind, and that's not a good place to be right now. So please, if you are missing project part 1, or you did not receive full points on it, you need to get working on that right away before you go through anything here in week 4. Get project part 1 submitted, message me, tell me you submitted it. I will take a look as soon as I can. And hopefully you did it right, you get full points, and then we can move on, right? Because what's the point? You can't move forward with project part 2 until you've gotten part 1 approved. The next thing you need to have done is submit the research and plagiarism assignment from last week. Maybe I haven't graded it yet, but you need to have at least submitted it. You need to have obviously submitted the week 4 attendance quiz, and then you need to have gone through the 3 lessons this week: APA format basics, reference entries, citation. If you have accomplished all of these requirements, then you'll have access to project part 2. There will be a video in the instruction area where I explain how to complete project part 2. I highly suggest watching the video because, once again, you really want to make sure that you complete it properly so that you can get full credit for it the first time around, because you have to get full credit for it in order to move on to project part 3 here in a couple weeks, right? So watch the video, complete it as the instructions specify. Try to have that in by Sunday night. Okay. All right. Once again, big week. This is might be the most important week of the term in terms of being successful with the paper. So do your best to get through the lessons, even the long ones. Work in breaks for yourself, plan your time accordingly. You don't have to get through all of it in one sitting, right? But know that the lessons this week are lengthy, but so important. It will help. Okay? Definitely reach out if you have questions or run into any problems. Otherwise, you're free to go ahead and get started.